Hey guys, Pawnce here, and today I'm going to explain the basics of the combat system in Absolver, the new third-person action martial arts sim fighting game thing. It's kind of hard to define exactly, but it's really cool, and the combat system is quite intricate. So I'm going to try and explain the basics to you guys. So before we kind of get any further, let's explain the stances, because this is where all your moves are going to get slotted in the end, which I'll talk about in a minute. So remember this, there's four stances. First, there's the top right stance, which I'm currently standing in. You can swap to the top left stance, or the bottom left stance, or the bottom right stance. All these things, think of them, the stances, almost like equipment slots in a game or something, except instead of equipment or something, or guns or anything, you're slotting specific moves. So whenever you're in that stance, you're going to do the moves that you slot into that stance. And so here's the fight or the combat deck here. You get 3 slots per stance to fit specific moves into that are all going to chain together. Now, when you first start the game, they're not going to give you all these slots. I think you start with like 1 or 2 each. Don't worry about that too much. Basically, the game, they don't want to overwhelm you, so they sort of ease you into it. But yeah, the main thing to note here, and I'm not going to get into the specifics of what my combat deck does too much. I'll talk about it maybe a little bit at the end if you're interested. But basically, the main thing to remember here is that each attack or sequence in the combo will have a starting position and an ending position in terms of the stance. It's a little bit complicated for the middle move, or chaining stuff together, so I won't talk about that too much. But basically, the most important thing to note is that some moves start in very specific quadrants, and some moves, or well, all moves end in very specific quadrants. That's the most important thing to note, I think, right here. So, for example, my top right stance chain that you guys see right here, this one right there, this one, after I do my 3-hit combo, which I have set up, is going to end in, it's going to put my character in the bottom left stance. So it's going to go all the way down here, and it's going to actually change my character's stance so that he's, well, fighting from here. And then my character will do this 3-hit stance, and then at the end of this combo, the stance is going to be shifted to my top left, because the 3rd hit I do in this combo shifts me to my top left. And then I go here, and because of the way I have my deck set up specifically, you don't have to do it like this. My attacks loop on themselves, so if I could just keep going, and then it's going to reset all the way back to my top right, and then it's going to just keep cycling like that. Now, of course, there's ways to break that and interrupt it, and go into different types of combos and flows. That's all the alternate attacks. Basically, the alternate attacks, I'll explain this kind of briefly, but yeah, if you're in a stance and you don't want to do any of your basic combo moves, you can slot in a different type of attack and you do something differently. Typically what people seem to be doing this, and what I do with the alternate attacks, this is a separate button, by the way. On the controller, your regular attacks are square, the alternate attacks are the triangle button. So for example, I have a long range poke attack. I have a kind of an armor breaking attack. I have a super slow baiting attack, and I also have this slow mix-up trip kind of thing. So I'll show you what I mean by sort of chaining moves together. So I'm going to do this really slowly. You're not supposed to do combos this slowly, but just so you guys can see. So this is, I'm starting my top right? So there's going to be a 3-hit combo here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and it swapped me to my bottom left. Now for my bottom left, I'm also going to go 1, 2, 3. Now I'm in my top left. 1, 2, 3. I'm back where I started. Now you're technically supposed to do this quickly, and it's called gold linking, where my character flashes gold and you cancel the finishing animation, so you chain through your attacks really, really quickly. So if I don't screw it up, it's gonna hold on, let's start again. So it's going to look something like that. And you kind of keep going really quickly like that. So that's the idea there. Now my combat deck specifically, again, I don't want to get into this too much, but yeah, I have the pacing very awkward. So it's kind of it's on beat, off beat, on beat, off beat, and then it's trading highs and lows. So it's actually harder for me to do, but it's also more confusing for the enemy to block and stuff. So anyway, so here's the alternate attacks. For example, now my top right was this, right? You guys remember those 3 attacks? Now my alternate attack in top right is this kind of lunging poke punch. So that's going to totally change things up in terms of what I'm doing. And I can interrupt my own combos, so I'm going to be going punch, and then I can, so this is hit 1 in my top right, and then instead I want to do my alternate afterwards. And then it's going to actually put me in my bottom left, which you guys haven't seen bottom left yet, or bottom right yet, because I haven't, well, shown you guys. So, for example, I have a completely different setup if I want to do my alternate attacks, which is like poke, sweep, or like I can go into a light chain as well, so I can go alternate poke, and then double hit light, which has its own chain, which kind of, oops, goes like, you know, like so. So, yeah, that's the absolute basics of the sort of the raw core of the combat there. There's a lot more going on, but that's what we have there. If anyone has any questions in regards to that and want me to clarify more, I realize it's kind of a complicated thing, so it's difficult to relate perfectly. So if anyone has any further questions, please feel free. Please feel free to ask me in the comments section, and I will do my best to answer your questions without stuttering and tripping over words. Now, aside from that, maybe some other minor things we should go over is my I guess base fighting style is known as Cult. It is it seems to be more kind of Muay Thai-ish based, but I wouldn't worry about your base style too much. You do get access to all the moves in the game eventually as you go out and learn them, which is a totally different topic. The main difference is access to your basically sort of special defensive ability. My Cult guy, he has an Absorb. So basically I'm going to flash blue here, like that. If I time that correctly with the blue flash when someone hits me, what happens is I'll actually absorb the hit, and I'll take like basically sort of phantom damage. But if I hit the guy back afterwards, or just I'm allowed to sit back and regen and stuff, I'll get that health back. So it's kind of a hyper armor move. You don't put them in a stagger state or a stun state or anything like that. You just absorb the hit. You're quick enough, you can come out of it and just sort of hit them again. So that's how cults work. It seems to tend to work with very aggressive play styles that want to just keep going forward and just going to keep attacking, and then like kind of bait out something, and then you absorb a hit, and then you get stamina back as well. I should have mentioned that, and then you kind of keep going. The other stance, or not stance, style is what is it? The Forsaken, which is it seems more karate-ish. It's like it's got this parry thing, which is arguably overpowered, but I'm not going to get into that. It seems really, really good, but I haven't played it yet. I probably should have picked it. But yeah, the parry will actually just stop whatever the person is doing. It'll put them in a stagger state, then you can counter them with a big hit. So that one's pretty cool. The other one, there are two more. There's Windfall, which is more kind of a wushu, general Chinese martial arts kind of style. That has an avoidance attack where you kind of like slow a person down and you dodge out of the way. And lastly, there is a stagger style, or drunken boxing, seeking, you know, whatever you want to call it. Well, I guess in the game it's called stagger. And that kind of has like this stumbling dodge thing, which is actually a little bit similar to the Windfall style. But anyway, those are the four styles. That's all the basics in terms of the combat. Like I said, hope you guys found this informative. If there are any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. You can, of course, join me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Pawnce/subtle advertising. Link available in the description below. In the the Twitch channel, I've been answering questions as best I can and all that. So it's a pretty complicated game, but I'm really, really enjoying it. So yeah. Anyway, see you guys around, and if people find these useful, I might make some more kind of basic tutorial videos and maybe some more in-depth stuff as well. Anyway, I'm off. Goodbye.